Well, hey there, folks. John Duffin here, Duffin Media. Welcome to another episode of Winning Solutions. What is Winning Solutions? Don't know. Oh, right. I'm supposed to know that. All right. What are Winning Solutions? They are 3 top tips that you can utilize instantly to optimize your communication so you'll optimize your life. What does that mean? Simply improving your communications. Bite-sized tips that are easy to use, easy to implement. You will see, speaking of easily, why they matter and how you can safeguard yourself so that your next business encounter, your next important conversation will resonate more. You'll improve your results. And in essence, what you'll also do is you'll generate more revenue. You'll get what you want, find what you need. And that's why I'm here. Folks, I love that you are here. If you are on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, welcome and thank you. And if you are, and if you'd be nice enough to drop a comment in any of those platforms, I should be able to see it. And that's how I'll know that you're here. What can we do? We make it more interactive at that point, make it more personal, make it more fun. Oh, yay. Rosalie, I'm so happy that you are here. Thank you for joining me. Rosalie's part of my all-star group. I am part of an all-star group of coaching, and we have known each other now, and I've gotten to watch Rosalie climb, ascend, no pun intended, but Rosalie climbed Camelback Mountain long before I did, and I never forget that. So here's what I want to touch on today, right? And by the way, that was a very intentional trigger that I just used, and I'll show you what I mean. And I always go back with one of my personal favorite questions that I tend to ask. Might be repetitive if you are a regular, but I will ask you. And the question is, have you ever had a conversation, presentation, or an encounter where you received surprisingly negative feedback? I'm going to add a little more to it, or no feedback, or people checking out, and you just couldn't understand why. Definitely has happened to me. Want a clue? Wait. Oh, hang on. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Right. Have you ever had that happen? Have you ever had that happen to you when someone was speaking to you? 100%. Me too, Rosalie. You are not alone. Have you ever done that? Using filler words. Okay, here's a favorite of mine, and I say that very sarcastically. Right? I got to tell you, today's 3 top tips are all going to center around the usage and hopefully, for the most part, removal of filler words and thoughts in the next time that you present in business. Speak, present, deliver proposals, try to engage or leverage a relationship. Let me ask a question. If you're here live, feel free to answer the question. No obligation. Does it bother you when people outside of a casual conversation, outside of your friends or family or whatever the case may be in that regard, if you're in a business conversation and you're hearing right, does it bother you? It doesn't have to. I'm going to tell you that for me personally, it bothers me. And I'll tell you why. It bothers me because I feel as if I'm not necessarily the focus of their attention. That there's other things that are going, you too, Tommy Kenyon? Great. Well, I'm not great, but I understand. I get it. So for myself, it shows to me Yes, a lack of confidence, but you know what else it shows to me? A real lack of clarity. It shows to me a lack of attention. It shows to me, yeah, okay, the Toastmaster and you, sure, man. It shows to me that I matter a little bit less. Something or someone matters a little bit more. Filler words happen to be clear signs that you, if you're the one speaking and throwing them around, or the person that's speaking to you, are somehow distracted. And as I said, distractions in business are lethal, lethal, lethal. So that's when I asked. We started to already answer this in terms of how does it feel? What has it cost you? We're going to touch on that in just a moment. What does it cost you? What's at stake when you start to what does it cost you? And so why wait? Why wait? A little bit of research from Business Insider. This is an older article. I was going to try to impress you to death with my Harvard Business article, but I'll save that for another time, where it talks about, and I say distractions are momentum killers. That to me is often the cost. Now, look, a few lucky people have the ability to speak fluently without hesitation. Understand we are humans and not perfect. So you don't want to sound so AI that you never throw a filler word in because it makes you sound almost robotic. And look, the good part of this, being slightly less eloquent, doesn't necessarily mean you're not as smart. No one is ever saying that. But it does make you sound a little bit more precise, worried about what somebody thinks or feels. Are they going to like this? Are they going to? Rosalie said it a little while back when she was talking about the lack of confidence. And I'm going to say, Is that a filler word? Wow. I don't know that, but tends to not be a strong business usage. Here's what I would say. You just don't want to inundate somebody with this. I'm going to give you there you go. And see, I'm very aware when I say it, which is not always good, by the way. You're human. You're not perfect. Nobody expects you to be. So don't get yourself tense and weird if you throw in a filler word. You're gonna. Everybody does. But here's what I'm going to say at this point, which is, and it's ultimately good news. With filler words, these are solvable and fixable. I didn't know that. I just thought that's the way people spoke. I'm a little bit more formal. I'm a little bit, but it is. However, I strongly believe that lack of confidence or lack of preparation, which we will touch on, or the ability to be able to articulate a sales pitch, a presentation, certainly a speech, has everything to do with you not feeling overly comfortable. Okay? So what I'd like to then furthermore say, so what do you do? By the way, I know it's Friday afternoon on the East Coast of the United States. It is after 4 p.m. And typically in corporate America, where I came from, 4 p.m. meetings were never looked forward to. Never. It was either oh my God, are they going to fire me? Or it was some assignment you just don't want or need. So I get all of that. This will not be a long meeting today. Okay. And you're commenting right now from the place. I got you, brother. Another former East Coaster, but I'm going to say this. So what do you do? So how do you reconcile or understand? Here's today's 3 top tips. I say talk to people. I say that a lot. Talk to people, not at people. It really resonates today. Okay? What do? Keep it simple, as we always say. if you've got a sales presentation, if you've got, by the way, I just noticed, nope, I spelled it correctly. I thought I didn't. If you've got a sales presentation, if you've got a speech, if you are meeting a client for the first time, thanks, sir. Here's what you got. Here's what you got to realize. It is so important. I use the expression former, and well, no, he's a current NFL quarterback. He was a former Seattle Seahawk. He is a current Pittsburgh Steeler. So if anybody here is anywhere close to Pittsburgh, PA, Russell Wilson was the person asked early in his career what separates him, and his answer, preparation is the separation. But here's what I'm going to coach and suggest strongly. You know the story. You do not need to memorize every single bullet point. I am a massive advocate of being prepared, but not in the stiff sort of I can't forget a single word. Let me share. When I am doing voiceover work, I just took an acting class, a group acting class, thanks to my mom, 95-plus-year-old Marie Ryan, who I love to death, and put together a group acting presentation. Script writers want you to remember every word. Most business organizations do not need you to memorize every single word, but I will tell you, they do need you to know the story like the back of your hand. So what does that do? Know the story. It gives you the ability to be able to improvise, or if you get thrown off, to come right back in and not go to the clutch of filler words and expressions and It adds to your confidence because you know what you're talking about. So what do? You know the whole story. What am I presenting? Why does this matter to this person, or why should it matter to this person? Really, I came from a world where we used to bring in corporate ad sales, bring long presentations because I feel like we would bludgeon them, or that was the intention, bludgeon the client into buying in. Here's the problem, though. Nobody wants to be read out loud to, unless you're a little kid that even gets confused when you're reading a long story at bedtime. So no time tolerance for that. Do not bring any kind of data or research. Do not, if you don't fully understand it. What's fully understand? They take the notes away and you have to explain it. If you can't do it, don't include it. That to me becomes critical. Anytime you are speaking, whether it is to one person, when it has to do with business, whether it is a small group of people, a large group of people, and the fact of the matter is, by the way, Tommy, it definitely applies to podcast issues as well, too. That tech sort of breaking up the momentum, let me tell you, that's a momentum killer. Because when you are speaking and somebody asks you a question, and again, we used to bludgeon people with data and research. People are not going to retain it, number one. Number two, there's so many reasons for you to be tripped up. But if you fully understand the story that you are including with an advertiser, a client, a prospective client, if you fully understand it, well, then here's how it goes. You're able to you might get knocked off your rhythm. You might get knocked off the sense of flow. So what? So what? But here's what you want to be able to do. Be clear. Here's your 3 C's. And yeah, we're going to put it all together today. Be clear, concise, and conversational. When you are speaking to anyone, one, small group, large group. Let me show you, right? Let me get this thing off and out of my way. Clear, concise, conversational. What if I said conversational, concise, and clear? Would you care what the difference was? Would it matter? No. But I understand the point that we want to bring this together tightly and simply. Okay? Clear, concise, conversational, focus on the individuals or the group, but be there for them. I firmly believe one of the reasons that people will naturally grab at filler words is because they lose their place. They lose their momentum. Something breaks into their intelligence or lack thereof. Nerves, your day, what happened yesterday. Anybody who is going through anything, which by the way is everybody all the time. Isn't it refreshing when you're with someone and they're giving you their undivided attention? It's almost weird, right? That sense of, oh my God, don't they have anything better to do? There's a gift to being able to convey that you are giving them your undivided attention. You're actively listening, which we've talked about all week. So when you do that, it is really hard, almost impossible. It's almost impossible to lose track of that person. It's really hard to go into when you're looking at someone, your body language, your eye contact, that sense of undivided attention. Look, your problems, your baggage, the situations, some good, some bad, some long-term problems, some short-term, you can always come back to them. But for that moment in time, sales pitch, sales presentation, the fact of the matter is, give them that because you're trying to build leverage and make your relationships count. No one wants to feel less than. No one wants to feel as if something more important is going on, and that's why you're getting distracted. Here's your bonus tip, by the way. Pause when asked a question. I remember, again, long sales presentations that I would used to deliver. My biggest fear was that somebody would ask me a question. You know why? Because I'd have to go back and try to remember the answer. And because I would throw so much data. This was not all the time. Thank God I learned from it. But that goes back to only including what you know and can converse about in a presentation. Somebody would ask a question and you felt like you had to immediately bat out the answer or you would look dumb. Let me give you a suggestion. Again, this is going to take all the filler words away from you. Pause for a moment. Get used to the silence. There's an old movie called Pulp Fiction where there is a scene with John Travolta and Uma Thurman. I love bouncing in some pop culture. It just, to me, sometimes is more fun than research. But I don't know if you remember the line or the part where they were talking about a comfortable silence. So I'm not saying stop for an hour and freak somebody out, but what I am saying is this: when you're asked a question, pause for a moment. Repeat the question as you understand it. You want a crutch that sounds better than a filler word? Here you go. Bonus tip of the day, right? Here it is. If I understand you correctly, and then repeat as you best understand it, what's the worst thing that could happen? You didn't get it right, and then they repeat it. Good, because then you're not going to answer the wrong question or answer it in the wrong way. Not to mention, you stay focused on the matter at hand. I'm going to tell you, these are focus issues, and there is nothing wrong with you if you lose focus. The job, though, is to try not to. Everybody is distracted. Everybody's got ADD. Everyone's carrying around something they wish they weren't carrying around. So again, as we talked about in the beginning of this episode, no one's asking you to sound like AI, and no one's asking you to sound robotic. You don't want to. You're human. That's the good news. That's the great news. Your passion, your emotion, all of that factors in. People want to feel that energy, but they also want to feel top of mind. So, you don't matter as much. I don't know what I'm talking about. None of those things are good. So, simply this: pause. Worry about your other things the moment you have to leave that situation. Focus on them and only them. And to me, those are the top things that you can do. It is a focus issue. You can fix focus. Work with bite-sized chunks. Phone call by phone call by phone call. Don't worry about your 5 o'clock meeting at 4 o'clock. Worry about your 4 o'clock meeting. Worry about your 4:30 meeting as it gets closer. Don't junk up your mind, your bandwidth. And by the way, that's a very technical term, junk up. So I say that with all love and respect, that what we can do, give people the attention they merit. Even if they don't merit it, give them your undivided attention. Really know the story of what you're talking about. Like for me today, I don't need to memorize research, but I have to certainly know where it comes in, why I included it, and why it matters, so that I can speak in a way that's coherent, clear, and not distracted, because distractions are death. You lose momentum. If you check out, you risk them checking out. They're all of a sudden going to be realized, whoa, I got a meeting in 8 minutes. I got to get ready for it. Don't let it happen. So the filler words are clues for your audience to check out. Don't beat yourself up if you slip on one or a couple. Don't worry about it. That's okay. But what I am saying to you is, point blank, your job is as little as possible, because it's really hard. If you're focused in on someone, you don't have to worry about filler words. You're just talking at this point. And that's what I recommend to you. The best way to sound human in a world of artificial intelligence is to focus, 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 focus. And that is my Friday tip for the day. Guess what? No one got fired. Not by me anyway. And I didn't get fired. People showed up. They spoke with me. I love it. I'm wildly grateful. And I'm going to remind you one more time that I'm going to keep pushing this. I'm building a community. It doesn't involve anything hard, okay? It's simply a matter of being around. I can get you early access to videos, blogs, ultimately my courses that I've created. And the easiest way to do it is this. Drop a note in the comments with this one word. I should have done this before, but I'll type it right in front of you. You put that word in the the word is community, by the way. If you put that word in the comments, I will get you a link. I'll get you a link to join the community. Cost you nothing. Zero obligation to do anything. And God, Sonny Payne, I'm going to tell a real fast Sonny Payne story. So, by the way, Sonny and I were both affiliated with, still are, I guess, with Keller Williams Real Estate in Philadelphia, now KW Empower. And I was really impressed by Sonny and the way that Sonny carries herself. But here's where I was most impressed. I had run a race in Philadelphia, the Philly 10K. And it's so much easier said than done, at least for me. So I get done, and I get done the race, And I didn't even have the energy to go home yet. It wasn't even that far from my house. And I walk into a Starbucks and I'm thinking, of course, like it's not as if you're not going to see someone it's Starbucks. It almost never happens. I feel like, all right, I can just decompress here. And I look over and I see this big smile on this person's face. And it was Sonny Payne. What did it do? It gave me the sense of kindness, comfort, that someone was smiling at me and I wasn't sitting there all by myself, stiff and sore and uncomfortable. Do that for somebody. Make somebody feel comfortable. Sonny Payne, I salute you. By the way, there you go, Tommy Kenyon. Community it is, baby. So you will be added to the VIP list. And if you want, again, type the word community in the comments and we'll get you some access to things faster, better, more complete. Or what's the other thing? Oh, right. You can send me an email. You don't have to type. You can type whatever you want in it, right? But here's the deal. See what happens when I take my eyes off the topic and my mind off it? I immediately jump in and say the word right. So that's one of my personal, I'm going to say sarcastically, favorites. My email, jd@duffinmedia.com. Write the word community and I'll get you added to the list as well, too. But it is Friday. I'm really grateful. I'm thankful to all of you for a great, fun week. Guess what? We're going to come back for more next week. I'm very excited. We're going to keep the momentum going. I'm honored that you took the time to hang out with me. And until next time, John Duffin, Duffin Media. Thanks so much for showing up for me today. I hope I got to show up for you. Have a great rest of the day, and we'll talk soon. Bye.